Fumigation is being used somewhat in some areas. It's not highly recommended, mainly because of the cost. That's where they come out, they tint the whole house and shoot it full of gas. The problem with it is gas on the average will not penetrate the egg capsules and kill the eggs. So in a period of approximately 10 days, those eggs will rehatch and you have a new infestation. Fumigations will work, however, if you put in 3 to 4 times the amount of gas into the house. The cost on average on, let's say, a 2,000 square foot house with fumigants, depending who you call, with tinting, is usually around $3,000 to $4,000. Just to give you a basic idea. Another way of doing it is chemicals. Chemicals do work mainly on the adults. There is no chemical, however, that will kill the eggs. So within a 2-week period of time, they have to go back out and do another treatment. Sometimes you have to do 2 to 3 treatments. The average cost chemical treatments are considerably cheaper than fumigants. However, you'll spend anywhere from average about $200 to $400 per room. What happens a lot of times there is companies will come and say, oh, you're only seeing them in 1 bedroom. Or you're only seeing them in 2 bedrooms. They'll treat just those bedrooms. However, if you think about it, bedbugs are the #1 hitchhikers in the world. If you're sleeping in your bed, that's where they are. They get on you. You go sit on your lounge or on your couch. You have now transferred bedbugs there. You go sit down, have a nice kitchen dinner with or in the kitchen, have a nice dinner with your family. You now transfer them to a nice cushion on your chairs. If you sit on the floor and watch TV, they are now in the carpets. They get into walls. They will move wherever they need to survive. The next step is heat treatments, to give y'all ideas. Heat treatment works extremely well. It's a middle of the cost thing. There is 4 companies, including myself right now in the Austin area, that has the heat. There's a variety of different ways. They have electric heat, they have gas and propane heat, and diesel heat. Diesel heat is very rarely to never used because of the carbon dioxide and the smell that it leaves in the house. It has an odor that will not quit. Your house will smell like diesel for a long period of time. Propane heat is doing extremely well. What we're learning with propane heat is they go in with a little meter after a house is treated to measure the amount of carbon dioxide put out by the propane. They can't even register it in parts per million. They have to go to parts per billion to determine how much propane is actually in the air. So in other words, it's not an issue. Propane heat's nice because we can adjust the amount of heat and output that is coming out of the machine. This machine will put up to 500 degrees coming out of the end. Obviously, you do not want to heat that much because it will melt the ductwork. It probably melt everything in the house. I'll give you an idea. Paper has a flash point. I believe it's 440, 450. So obviously, you don't want to get 500 degrees into the house. It will melt many blinds if you're not careful with that temperature. It will melt a whole lot of things. What they've learned with heat also is we have a checkoff list. When you go in, there's a checkoff list of things to remove. Basic ideas is anything it wants. Okay? Yeah. Candles is the #1 thing. The second thing you have to think of is medications, either over-the-counter or prescribed medications because of the wax coating they have on it. You'll open your bottle of whatever pill you take, you'll do it, and they'll be solid. You won't get an individual pill out anymore. Some of the kids' toys we have to have removed. The problem is when we go to remove them, you've got to be very careful because eggs can be attached to whatever you're removing. Most cases you'll notice the adult bed bug if you're removing them with it. So what we do is we have people remove it, set it on like an outside back patio, and we treat them separately. And in those cases we usually use cedar side, something like that that's natural because most people like the idea of the heat because it's safe. There's no chemicals involved. Now what you've got to be cautious of is when a company goes in, they like to use dust, which is excellent to use if it's placed out properly into a wall. The heat will penetrate the walls if done properly. We go in, we treat every wall void, outlet, and everything in the house with a dust. Usually diatomaceous earth is the choice. If it's a very, very heavy infestation, we like to use a silica gel that has permethrin in it, which doesn't last long, but does wonderful on a knockdown. When you go into a house and you do this, what usually ends up happening, to give you an idea on bed bugs, they will live, an adult bed bug, once they reach maturity, will live up to approximately 18 months. Now, you take away a lot of the food, the humanoids, put it that way. You remove them. We have found out, normally dogs, cats, rats, raccoons, etc., they're not like fleas. You usually don't find them on those animals. However, if you get involved, you go in and you take away the host, like a rental property that has them. It doesn't get rented right away. They will start going to animals, raccoons, possums, and rats to get their meal. A bed bug can live up to 6 months without eating from the last time he filled.
Dang, what willpower.
So now y'all can kind of understand how they reproduce so fast. Now, getting bed bugs, how do you get them? Common sense things, very simple. Hotels, motels, cruise ships. You can go out to eat. You can go to a movie theater. They've had movie theaters that have been shut down because of bed bugs. Nobody's exempt. So when it comes to bed bugs, a lot of it is common sense as far as how you get them. Just be cautious. People say, well, sounds like you're going to get them no matter what you do. Hey, I go in and hug bed bug mattresses, moving them around. I've never had a bed bug in my house. And if I do, I'll be divorced. I am prepared for it. If we ever get one, we're going to eat it. Now, the heat averages on a house, give you a basic idea, 120 degrees for 3 hours will kill the adult bed bugs and will kill the eggs. Usually in a house, you have two different temperatures that you're dealing with. The temperatures of the heat, what we call out in the open, just out in the open air, obviously is going to be hotter than under the bed, behind the furniture, in the drawers, in the closets, and that type of thing. What we do is we take readings. We have probes that go in that send us it out on a computer to tell us what the readings are. The fans here will remove approximately 4,000 cubic foot of air a minute. We have 6 of these fans. And then we just go into the houses and heat them. I don't use the probes yet because it makes you lazy. You don't want to go in that heat. When it's 160 to 180 degrees in the open air in that house, you don't want to walk in there. I like going in there and flipping over mattresses and things and making sure that they're gone. That's where the failure rate is. Educating the people on how you get them and making sure the heat gets to where it needs to be. And those are your top things. And that's basically